Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about file I/O. So we're going to get some terminology covered before we start with the more interesting programming aspects of file I/O. So we're going to start with talking about what I/O even means. So I/O just means input and output. All right, so you've already been working with input and output in this course and in other aspects of your programming experience, right? So things that we talk about, that is input. So input here is things like system dot in, and output is things like system, hold on, helps if I do not hit the erase button while I'm trying to write, system dot out. All right, so we have file input output, and instead of working with system in and system out, we're going to be working with files. So we're going to have input streams from files and output streams to files. And that's really all we're wanting. And a stream, I said this word stream and I didn't explain what a stream was. Stream is a object right? It's an object that allows for the flow of data uh, between your program and some I/O. Doesn't have to be file I/O. Doesn't have to be system.in. They're just really good examples of what a stream would output or input from. So if we want to talk about the stream a little bit more, it's actually like we could talk about it as if it's an actual stream, right? So imagine this is an actual stream of water, right? We have data flowing through it, and the data is coming in, and streams always end up in a larger body of water, right? They end up in a lake or in the ocean. Doesn't really matter. They end up somewhere. So your program basically rests at that point between where the stream stops becoming a stream and starts becoming that larger body of water. That's your program. All right. The idea here is that your program is going to take that data, it's going to take whatever's coming in, it's going to do something to it, it's going to change it in some fashion, and it's going to output it to that larger body of water. And your program doesn't actually care where it's going, all right? It doesn't care if it's an output stream to the command line. It doesn't care if it is an output stream to a file. Now, there are certain cases where you have to use different objects to interact with these things, particularly in Java, but your program itself, not the part dealing with that input output, shouldn't care. It should only worry about trying to get some data in and some data out. All right, and there's two types of files that we're going to be working with. So the first type of file that we'll be working with are text files. All right, text files are basically they're ASCII files. So ASCII, ASCII files, which just means that they're text. They're just characters. Right? Now, technically they're not just characters, but for the purposes of what we'll be doing, we can essentially think of text files as a stream of characters. They're going to have new lines and tabs and white space. which are technically part of the ASCII set, and you're going to have symbols and letters and numbers, right? You should all know what text files are. We've all worked with them before. And the next type is a binary file. So a binary file is essentially a series of ones and zeros. Okay, so in this case, it is essentially just a bunch of ones and zeros. We don't know, we can't read it as humans. It is purely for a program or a piece of software. Now, in Java, when we write these binary files, pretty much only another Java program can read them. So Java, only Java can read Java. This isn't necessarily true. I mean, technically, there may be some library out there that allows a C++ program to read a Java binary, but for the purposes of what we're talking about, basically only Java can read Java binary files. We're going to work with that assumption moving forward. It's going to be very difficult to translate it to another language anyway. So what I want to cover in the next video is going to be specifically interacting with these text files. And then we're going to do another video after that for working with um, the binary files. All right, so we're actually going to do a couple videos for the text files because there's a couple different things I want to cover before we get to binary. And we'll go over some of what that is in the next video. And then we're going to go over binary files. And after we go over all that, there's going to be a couple little like bonus tidbits I'm going to throw into that binary video. All right. So make sure you watch the next videos for how to work with text files.